So thank you, Connor, for being today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Today's going to be an awesome topic. We have a training on team building strategies, on how to build, grow, and duplicate your team. And we have a special guest today with us, Connor Steinbrook. He is top 50 influencer here at our company. He has a #1 YouTube channel for real estate investment in southern part of the US, which you have to check out, called Investor Army. And he's built a massive team of 1,500 agents worldwide. And he's gonna tell us how he's done it. And then we're gonna take a quick transition over to Kyle Sutton from eXp Realty here, real estate agent. He's gonna dive into why real estate agents across the world are creating financial freedom using this disruptive brokerage model that we have here. So if you guys can put yourself on mute, and if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll get to you at the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for being here. So take it away, Connor, and I'll give you permission to share screen if you like to.
Hey, yeah, thanks guys. Appreciate you letting me borrow your time, guys. Thanks for everybody that's coming here today. Let me kind of go over a number of things with you that may help. But the first thing is, what are the two things we do as agents, right? We sell houses, but a lot of us like to build teams of agents that sell houses. Now, what's the different mentality and psychology behind this? It's a solopreneur to an entrepreneur. So the reason why you want to build a team, easiest way to understand is it'll create wealth for you and it'll set you financially free and it'll give you your time back. So let me quickly tell you my story real quick. I'm gonna give you 4 things that create wealth, and a couple of them have a big impact on why you'd want to build a team. Then I want to talk about team structures. What skill sets are the first that you want to build? What skill sets next? And what are the most important parts of your business? And I'll give you guys a couple other talking points on how to grow your team. So the first thing is, I'm going to talk really fast, guys, but I'm out of Dallas, Texas. I came up in the investing world first, failed miserably, won 100 grand debt, ran out of money, used social media to figure out how to build an investing business. And when I ran out of money, or let me step back for a second. I went off to college in 2003. Put a $20 in an online poker site, ran it into a small fortune, and that career disappeared on me on April 15, 2011. And what happened to me at that moment was I learned some very hard lessons. I want you guys to write these down. So big lessons I learned early on in my life were, if I do everything on my own, I can't grow. So you can't have single individual success. It's called personal success. You have to have what's called real success. You have to have duplication and leverage. We all understand this. So write these 4 things down and give you guys what creates wealth, and you're going to understand why you should build a team. So the first one is you have to have duplication through leverage, other people's money, other people's times, other people's systems, other people's technologies, right? You can't do everything on your own, because if you do, there's time liabilities in your life. Children, grandchildren, health insurance, you're going to get sick. Something's going to happen where you can't trade your time for checks. So what do you do if you can't trade your time for checks? Well, you should have secondary income streams. The second thing that creates wealth outside of duplication, outside of your own efforts, is multiple streams of income. This is your insurance policy. This is your protection measure. So if you guys are doing sales and you run a team and you can't produce an income through your sales because you're having children or you're taking care of your older parents or whatever it is, that team is creating an income for you while you can take time off to handle your personal life situation, if that makes sense. So you need to have more than one income stream. I believe everybody should have at least 3 income streams, because if you have if you have 2 and you lose one, you're back to one in that same risky position. So you need to have duplication. You need to have multiple streams of multiple streams of income for insurance. But the other 2 things that you need, guys, to build wealth are equity models and residual income models. We're not going to talk too much about those today, except for the fact residual is one of the big reasons I went to eXp. So if you build a right team at the right company, you can build a substantial residual income. And the power of residual income gives you guys not just money freedom, but time and money freedom. So if 2 people make $250,000 a year, one's doing it through sales, one's doing it through a residual income model through a team structure, one's sitting on the beach every single day with their family doing what they want, the other one's sitting there grinding contracts, working 60, 80, 100 hours a week, if that makes sense. So what happened to me was I realized after my poker career disappeared, these 4 things create wealth. So I jumped into the real estate investing world. To catch up back to my story, I got ahead of myself. And what happened was I failed miserably, ran out of money, used social media, used internet marketing to build a team, or to build my investing business. Now, when my YouTube channel took off, everybody started reaching out to me about eXp Realty, because they have a very powerful team building model that allows for residual income. Blew everybody off, and after 2 years, guys, I finally slowed down to take a look at it. And I decided to come over to eXp because of the revenue share model. And like Tharmila said, we built a team of almost 1,500 agents, and it set me financially free. So that would be the #1 reason that you guys want to build a team, is because it gives you your time freedom and your freedom to have both money and time if you build a residual income model. Now, let's talk about the order of importance of skill sets when you're building an organization. So what do you think, guys, probably the most important skill set is when you're building a brokerage? You guys a second to think about it. The most important skill set is attraction. So the second most important skill set is how to learn how to retain agents. So it's attraction plus retention. And then the third skill set in order of most importance is leadership, motivation, self-esteem building activities for your agents. And then the fourth one is actually selling skill sets, production skill sets to actually sell houses. Now, this may be outside what most people would believe, but if you look at it, attraction is the most important. If you don't have the ability to attract agents, you have no business. So none of these other skill sets matter in your business, if that makes sense. So if you guys are looking to start a business and looking to start to grow a team, the most important skill set you guys can have is the ability to communicate and influence. So I would be studying influence and communication skill sets, and especially in our business, guys, that's going to help you in all areas of your business, leading your team, manage your team, building your team, but working with your clients as well. So your ability to communicate and influence is the most important skill set in business today. So attraction comes first, but retention comes second, because if you can attract agents, but you can't keep them, let's say you attract 1,000, but you lose 1,000, how big is your organization? So the second thing is, if you're going to build a team, you need to figure out where you're going to build a team. So it takes two things to build a brokerage or a team, right? The quality of the product or service that you're selling in the marketplace. In our case, it's the brokerage model. And then your skill sets as the individual building the business, right? So the reason why I went over to eXp was as simple as the fastest growing brokerage in real estate history. To me, the statistics of the growth rate show that it's the most popular business model in the industry. So if I'm going to sell a product or service, why not sell the best one, if that makes sense? So I knew that I had the best product in the marketplace because no company's ever grown this fast. So all I need to do is build my skill sets, if that makes sense. So what we use here at eXp is, for retention purposes, is we have a very powerful wealth creation model, talking about the four things that create wealth. Once again, multiple streams of income, duplication, equity, and residual income. We do have a publicly traded company. They give us stock awards in 5 different ways. And by helping agents accrue up thousands, hundreds of thousands, some of them 7 figures or more in equity in the company, what do you think that does for retention within a team? Now, the second thing we have over here is health insurance options that helps with retaining talent, because most companies don't give this option. And the third thing is we use residual income. Now, you guys may be at different brokerages or run your own brokerage right now, but you need to start thinking, what do you have as a risk mitigation factor in your business that if agents from other brokerages or team leaders and brokers from other brokerages are talking to your agents, will make sure that they see the value proposition is large enough to continue on staying at your current company. So the second step after attraction is retention. Figure out what you guys have to offer your partners, skill sets, tools, systems, extra trainings, compensation plans. You have to have something to retain talent, because if not, this is an attrition-based business, guys. You're going to attract them. They're going to come in one door and go out the other door and bounce around like ping pong balls. So the attrition in this business is vicious. If you can't find something to retain talent within your organization, then you're going to have high attrition rates. Now, the third thing is, this is most important, self-esteem and self-confidence builds business, right? So the third step is, after you have agents and they're staying, let's get them into a moment, or let's get them into the right thinking process. Let's get them into the right mindset to build a business. So the number one reason, guys, people fail in business is not skill sets, it's not talent, it's consistency, persistency, and the will to get up when they get knocked down. So self-esteem is the underlying cause of every successful person or every successful business. So you hear all these self-development gurus out there saying, let's go take action, let's go take action. But when you go pick up the phone, it weighs 1,000,000 pounds. Now, the reason why you can't just go take action is because you haven't built your underlying self-esteem up, so that when you pick up that phone, it just doesn't, you can't just pick it up, right? So what do we do to create more action? We need more energy. What fuels energy inside of our body? The belief in what we're doing. So if you guys don't believe in the business model you're building, or believe in what you're doing as far as an industry you're in, or whatever it is, it does, you're never going to go do it. So if you're selling a product or service and you don't believe in it, how could you possibly have real energy and real excitement and real enthusiasm behind the product you're selling? And if sales is really a transference of energy to the person you're talking to, and you don't have a big or high level of energy about what you're selling, you're going to do very poor at whatever you're selling, if that makes sense. Now, let's say you believe in what you're selling, like this pen or soda or car or insurance or houses or brokerage model, more than anything in the world. It doesn't matter how much you believe in what you're doing if you don't believe in yourself once that thing that you're doing gets tough, because there's peaks and troughs in every business. That's what a business is. It's solving problems every day. So you're going to run into headaches all the time in business, just like Tharmila was talking about with the transaction. So self-esteem is the most important thing when it comes to building a business. So if you guys want your agents to go out there and produce, you guys want your agents to go out there and build with you, you need to help them find a way to believe in themselves and find that energy from within. Therefore, they can go out there and face this physical world that we have with all these external threats that knock us down all the time, if that makes sense. Now, once we help build people up, build up their self-esteem, the fourth step is sales. That's when we focus on production skill sets. That's when we focus on social media. That's when we focus on, different things that agents can do: cold calling, neighborhoods, farming, referral marketing, and things like that. So if you can't attract them, you have no business. If you can't keep them, you have no business. If they don't get up and go work, you have no business. Then you focus on skill sets, if that makes sense. And most people just straight go to training. They're just focusing on training. It doesn't matter how much you guys give people as far as tools, trainings, and resources if they don't believe in themselves. So I just want you guys to understand, when you're when you're building a leadership team of any type, this is kind of how you need to see it as you flow through your business step by step. Okay, now when it comes to different ways you can grow your business, there's two different approaches when you're trying to reach out to agents. You have a proactive approach, and then you have a reactive approach. So proactive approaches would be, calling an agent in your market from their website, right? Going to a realtor party, doing things that are proactive, taking your time as an effort to go out there and reach out to people. So proactive strategies have a direct time allocation to your effort to reaching out to individuals. So if you don't call someone, trading your time directly to it, that call doesn't happen. So what you really want to start thinking about, in the most successful agent attractors in the world, including the #1 recruiter at our company, which is Mike Sherrard, who's Tharmila's sponsor, they've cracked the code to inbound reactive strategies. Now, the big difference between a proactive strategy and reactive strategy would be, I reach out to Tharmila on social media by sending her a message. I'm waiting for her to respond, then I have to respond. Whereas a reactive approach is still using social media, but I'm placing a YouTube video or Instagram post out on the internet, giving some type of value or doing something unique to catch attention where they contact me. So if I make a post one time and 10 people reach out to me versus me reaching out to 10 people, I'm getting 10 contacts, but what's the time allocation difference between the way that these leads came in? So when you guys think about your your businesses, don't just think about your sales business or any of your businesses. Think about them like this. Like, think about how you understand income streams. There's only 3 ways to create income: actively, residually, or through equity. And we understand the power of residual income. You should also think about how you're running your marketing business. Is your marketing residual or is it active? Think about that, right? A YouTube video on the internet is a residual marketing stream. You trade your time once, it creates leads going forward for over and over and over. Put a billboard up, takes a small time allocation one time, and they can generate leads over and over and over. Now, the difference between proactive and reactive obviously is the time leverage and how much time you're going to put into it for the leads that you're getting out. Now, on top of that, there's a difference between conversion rates when it comes to prospecting. So once you guys get better at communicating, better at influence, bring more value to the business model that you're building, you're going to have a higher conversion rate. So the goal is to have the highest conversion rate possible. On a proactively, when you're reaching out to someone, your conversion rates are going to be substantially lower than when someone's contacting you. So let's say I put a video on the internet, every week or every month, or a couple times a month, and Kyle's watching my videos. If he picks up the phone and calls me to sell his house to me, or says he wants to join my team, or whatever business I'm running, he had to unconsciously decide that it makes sense to call this person. So he's already vetted me through a rapport building status. He would have never picked up the phone to call me if he wasn't open to working with me, if that makes sense. So when we're contacting someone through a cold market strategy, we have to build that rapport with them. We have to go through the relationship building process, and we actually have to go through a lot more time management, and it's going to be lower converting. So the main thing you guys want to think about if you're going to grow quick is to create reactive inbound strategies where you're using what's called credibility marketing. Having a microphone in your hand, getting, some type of licensing agreement with a book company, letting you guys be on a book cover, being on camera. So think about the psychological effect of our mind when we see people on a screen. Even right now, just being the one talking to a group, I hold a higher level of credibility. Whether I'm credible or not, it doesn't matter in the world, just because the social dynamics of how the call's going, if that makes sense. So we grew up with the television, watching our favorite athletes, our favorite movie stars, all these different people. So when you that are in our mind on a higher level in the hierarchy of life. So when we see someone on camera, which you guys can pull out a free phone, put a video on a free platform, and get yourself on camera. When the public sees this, or when people see this, they automatically give you a higher level of credibility, a higher level of respect, and you're going to see a higher level of conversion in your business. Okay. Come on, Tharmila, how many minutes do I have? Do I have 5 minutes or 3 minutes?
Yeah, you have 10 minutes. Go for it.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let's kind of talk about, I did this talking on a training in a couple of days ago for our agents in our organization. And this is a 3-step process, guys, that I've been doing in all my businesses for years. And this is the way to control a conversation and flow through a conversation where most people struggle in a conversation. So the first thing is, before I go into kind of the 3-step process on how I control a conversation and where I go through the conversation, there's 3 things before this that I know Kyle, we talked about the other day on the call, which is our decision triangle, and understanding how people make decisions on what they're doing in their life. The first one is they make decisions off of income, especially in business. Can they create a higher income? So if you guys are able to paint a picture of why someone could come over and work with you and their income can go up, that's going to lead them to make a decision to come partner with you. Second thing is, let's say their income stays flat. Let's say Kyle comes over here and works with us and makes 10,000. He was making 10,000 or whatever it is, doesn't really matter. But I can show Kyle how to leverage his time better through a more efficient system. So eXp is a cloud-based system. One of the reasons why top producers are flooding into our company right now is they understand the efficiency tool allows them to do things quicker at our company. So the things that they're already doing in their business already create income. So if you have something that you're doing that's an income producing activity that takes an hour, you can now do it faster because of a system or technology like we have at eXp in 30 minutes. And you trade that time back into that activity, you just doubled your income for that time unit spent. So the most important thing is to understand efficiencies and time management. This is why there's so many time management books written in the entrepreneurship sections, because if you can save time, even if your income's the same, you can trade that time back into other parts of your life to create a higher income, if that makes sense. Now, the last thing is emotional stress, right? Certain things in business create more stress than others. So if you're having system errors or technology errors or things like this that slow you down, it creates massive stress. So if you can show someone the way that they can partner with you, where you can eliminate certain parts of stress in their business, people make decisions off all three of these things: time, income, and stress and emotion. Okay. Now, when it comes to how do you go through a conversation with anybody in sales, the number one reason people fail in communication and sales is they make statements. They don't control conversations through questions. The difference is massive, right? So I give an analogy, like let's say I'm talking to Kyle and I'm looking to bring Kyle to my organization. I can ask him about his company, or I can be in a conversation with him. I can just talk about my company. What most people do is they rattle off their talking points. We'd say, you know, we have an 80-20 split, stock awards, revenue sharing, all these great things, bells and whistles, and I keep talking through. The problem with that is I have no idea if Kyle's listening to me, if he's just looking at me, nodding along, and I don't know where he's at in his mindset or when I'm talking about certain things, if this is a value to him. And so the only way I know if Kyle's engaged in the conversation is cognitively processing the information I'm going through with him, especially the numbers, and I'm making sure that I'm in control of the conversation, not Kyle, is to lead with questions. So when you guys sit down with an agent, the first 10, 15 minutes, maybe 5 minutes should be gathering data, right? You need to find out what their production numbers are, what their current compensation plan is at their current company, because how can you compare a business model if you don't have their numbers, right? So you need to know what their numbers are. So you're going to gather all their number questions. Then you're going to go through a pain gathering question stage where you're going to gather all the pain points, ask them pain questions, right? People move away from pain or towards pleasure. So Kyle, what's the last thing your brokerage did to upset you? Are they currently doing anything that you feel like they're dropping the ball on? Do you think they're doing everything they should to get the amount of money that you're paying them for the splits that you're paying in? Why don't you think your company gives you ownership in the company? Why doesn't your company give you a residual income opportunity? You know, you're bringing up pain questions that they can start to see that maybe they're not the best place for them, if that makes sense. Then you want to bring up goal questions, future pacing goals, right? You want to get in a mindset of where they're going, what they want. Because some people, guys, really, they don't want to build like $1 million business. They'd like to build like $100,000, $200,000 residual income, and then just live their life and spend their time with their family, which is 100% fine. Some people want to work 150 hours a week forever and become a billionaire. That's fine too. It's your goals, but you need to find out what their goals are, because if you don't know what their goals are, you don't know what their pain points are, you don't know what their numbers are, you can't have a legitimate converting conversation. So the first part, guys, step one is data gathering through questions and controlling the conversation. Step two is you need to have a business model that makes mathematical sense for them. So the number one thing that makes an agent move a brokerage is that they make more money for doing the exact same thing. So if I sit down with Kyle, let's say Kyle's, or just like, let's make it even a stronger example, like a 12-year-old kid and my neighbor kid, right? I can offer him $100 to mow my yard or $25 to mow my yard. Which one do you think he's going to choose to get paid? Do you want to get paid $100 or $25, right? Same activity, mowing the exact same yard, two different compensation plans. So the reason why eXp is exploding is because people get paid more for doing the exact same thing, right? If that makes sense. So who would work for less? I mean, the job of an entrepreneur is to go out there and find the way to get paid the most you can with the dollars spent, time spent, and emotion spent, these three allocations of your business, right? So what we can do at our model is show people mathematically pretty much in every situation that they net more money, and we back into net sheets. So if you guys are going to build a team or you're going to build a brokerage, you cannot build a brokerage successfully if your numbers don't stack up to the macro marketplace numbers, if that makes sense. Because if more brokerages out there put more money in the pocket of the person that they could go join that work at that company versus another company, or you're trying to recruit them to your company, but they're going to make less than the average company out there, you're never going to build a brokerage. You can attract them, but you won't keep them, if that makes sense. So you have to understand how to get to their math. Now, once we back into their math and their net sheet, and there's a net difference, a split difference. So let's say I show Kyle $17,000, or some people here, when we show them to come to eXp, these top producers, they're making 6 figures more at eXp legitimately. So if I show them this on pen and paper, now what we do is we have a tangible number. Emotion can't argue a calculator. If they can figure out the numbers and you show them how to get to the numbers, they're going to play with it as many times as they can. And once they understand that they're losing that net difference, you challenge them and you make them spend their future dollars, and then you retract that from them. So Kyle, I can't give you the $33,000 back that your broker took from you last year. I wish I could, but he's already got it. Now, you have a decision right now. If you want to have this $33,000 that you lost last year, if you do the exact same production you would do this year, if you came over here, what would you do if you moved to eXp and you picked up an extra $33,000? What would this do for your life? Would this, pay down some debt? Would this allow you to put some money towards your kids' college? Would you go on a vacation with your family for the first time? Would you pay off a car, get a new car? So what you do is you create data gathering questions to gather information, go through the conversation, math to make the opportunity real, and then you tie it to their future goals of what this could accomplish, and then you take it away from them, and then they can get it back if they move to your brokerage, if that makes sense. But this is the kind of conversation flow I go through, when I'm talking to agents and I'm helping them come to the conclusion that this is a better place for them to go. Now, if you guys are building a team or a brokerage in a different model, you need to do the same thing for your model as far as finding how this works. Now, the reason why I think a lot of brokers are moving over to our company here, and we're seeing brokers with 100+ agents come over here, is for the ability to offer a mathematically powerful business model that agents don't traditionally see in the marketplace. Okay, now, Tharmila, did you want me to open up for questions, or how did you want to do it?
Yep, let's open up for questions. That's awesome. Thank you, Connor. So if anybody have any questions, you can leave it. You can unmute and ask the question directly to Connor, or you can leave it in the chat box as well. So anything about what he shared about growing your team, whether it's strategies on how to thinking about approaching strategies, or any even questions about what he brought up today. So that was a really good presentation. Thank you. Awesome. I don't see anybody asking questions, but no, that's great, Connor. So, I have a question for you, Connor. So when you're meeting with people, and, obviously for us is easy because we have an amazing service of compensation plan that works for people. So it makes it easier. So for some people who wants to build a team, but they feel like they don't have the right amount of experience, where do you think they should get started? So do you think that they should, obviously, for us, you always tell us, learn the model first, understand the product so that you know what you're doing. So for someone who's never, ever, managed a team before, who's never even had an intern before, never been in a situation where they were put in a leadership position, where should they begin?
Yeah, well, the first thing is, if you guys want to build a team, you're going to have to be at the right brokerage to start out with. So you guys can go start a brokerage on your own, but here in Texas, it takes 4 years to get your broker's license. And then also, if you build a real brokerage on your own, there's legitimate skill sets that you guys need ahead of time. You need to be able to understand, accounting. You need to understand how to go through the legal process, all the laws in your marketplace. You need to be able to not just be unconsciously competent about the things you're doing, which means that you're doing things that make money in your business, but you can't teach them. You need to be consciously competent, understand everything well enough that you can actually transfer that information to someone where they understand it and can apply it. So it's a lot to build a traditional brokerage or a traditional team. So why most people move to brokerages where you can start out and do this day one? There's a lot of them out there. eXp is one of them, where you guys can start building a business day one if you like the idea of building a team. So the first thing is selecting the right brokerage where you have a back-end management process for you. So if you guys don't have any real business background in building businesses, you're going to have to leverage a company that gives you that part of the business taken off your plate. For example, at eXp, we have 1,000 paid employees. They do everything for me. I pay $85 a month, and I have 400 transactions closed last month with our organization, and I didn't see a piece of paperwork. I have a legal review team in every single state. I'm not training them on how to do contracts. I'm not teaching them how to get into their email accounts. I'm not going through and explaining them how to do calculations on when their checks are getting paid out. So the first thing is eXp create a system, and some other companies have systems like this as well, where you can come in without these traditional skill sets, but start building right away. I have a 20-year-old kid. He's a good friend of mine now. He's got almost 30 people he's recruited. He's 20 years old, never sold a house, and he's in college, just to give you an idea of how powerful the eXp business model is, because he can bring these agents to the company. The company's going to train them on paperwork and documents. They're going to handle all their logistical side of the business, the management side, and he can focus on attracting agents. Now, this is where I'd start out if you guys don't have any skill sets in the business, is find the right brokerage that allows you to build a business with the management side handled for you so you don't have to worry about that. Then you just have to focus on one skill set, which is what we talked about first, which is attraction, communication, and influence. There's actually a book called Influence by Robert Cialdini. I think he spells his last name CIA. Maybe one of y'all can pull up. I can't even spell this, but it's a really good book that's going to really break down a lot of the communication processes. So I'd be focusing heavily on reading books on communication, reading books on closing, reading books on influence, watching podcasts, and focusing on this skill set first. And then as you grow your organization, lead into more leadership skill sets, books by John Maxwell and things like this, and learning how to be a leader. But in the beginning, find a right brokerage, one that gives you the ability to have a management process handled for you so you don't have to worry about all these working parts, because it takes years throughout the business to build these skill sets to do that. And then just focus on the communication skill sets and start conversations with agents, and then focus, like we talked about before, on creating a combination of proactive and reactive strategies to get into conversations with them. But that'd be the first thing. You can't really build a team unless you have a company behind you that handles the management side while your skill sets get up to where you could build a brokerage on your own, if that makes sense.
Awesome. Thank you, Connor. I'm actually writing in the book and the author's name in the chat so that you guys can go look that up. Thank you.
I mean, like right now, so like it's easy. So like, when I started going through self-development, guys, I was reading anything and everything. I was running all around, bouncing all different directions. I was reading books on, like so many different things. If I could go back into my business, the only thing I would focus on in like the first year of education and self-development would be just on communication. That's it. Because it's the most important thing. If you can't get what's in your mind into the mind of someone else in a way that they can understand it, then there's no conversion of business. And I would be focusing on not only understanding what you say, but we talk a lot about how you say what you say. And this is the most important thing, Scott. And I know I'm running out of time, but this is the most important thing. So many people in real estate are fixated on scripts. A script is literally the worst thing to be fixated on. It is the absolute biggest distraction that anybody could have. Script absolutely does not matter. The words you say, the intentionality and the emphasis and the delivery of the words are what matters. For example, I have this little cat that always comes outside my house. I feed him. And if I was to hold a little piece of chicken for this cat outside, and I was to scream as loud as I could with an angry tone to my voice, but scream nice things to him, hey, I love you, the cutest little cat ever, but I'm screaming with anger, he's going to run off, he's going to disappear, right? Now, I'm not trying to be insensitive here, but let's say on the flip side, I'm talking the softest, kindest, sweetest, loving voice, but I'm saying some pretty mean things to the cat. You're such an ugly little kitty. You're so not pretty, right? He's going to come up. So the point is, it's not the words that you say, it's the energy and transference of the emotion in the words that you say. Same thing also if Kyle had a twin and he had the same movie role he was going for, and he had the exact same script, meaning the exact same words he's saying, one of them has to get the movie role. The difference is the nonverbal body language communication, the way he controls his face, the way he controls his posture, the way he controls his energy, and then how he delivers the punchline, how he puts the emphasis into the voice. It's the belief in what you're believing in that people feel from the transference of energy, guys. So if you guys don't believe in what you're doing, you'll never build anything, is the main thing to understand.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Connor. We are just right about time to jump into our presentation. So Connor, feel free to stick around or listen in or jump off. It's up to you. Thanks so much, guys, for jumping in. So we're just going to jump directly into our presentation. Kyle, thank you so much for being here. Kyle Sutton is a realtor here at eXp Realty, and he's going to take us through this amazing model that's changing the lives of many agents across the world. And it's how agents across the world are building financial wealth and freedom. So I'm going to pass the mic on to Kyle. Thanks so much, Connor. Have a good day. Okay, go ahead, Kyle.
Thanks, Connor. Thanks, Tharmila. Yeah, so we're going to get started here. We're going to jump into the eXp Realty business model here. So if you just give me a second. And can you guys see my screen?
Yep, you're good.
Yeah, you can see it. Perfect. Okay, great. So we're going to get started here. So what we're going to be going on today is we're going to be doing a deep dive into the eXp Realty business model. Now, if you guys haven't heard about it, this is the model that everybody's been talking about, and it's really been able to change the lives of realtors all over the world. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the compensation structure and eXp's 3 different income streams. So we have the sales model, we have the equity model, as well as the revenue share model. Then what we're going to do is do a live demonstration of the cloud-based brokerage, and we'll start to wrap up and go through some of the back-end services and offerings that we have. So that's going to be the tools, the training, the resources, the support, things like that. Then we're going to be finishing off with what our group actually does differently, why we've broken so many records here, and what we actually do above and beyond everybody else here at the company. And then we'll have some time for some Q&A right at the end, and we can answer any questions that you guys might have. Now, just so you guys know, I do talk a little bit fast. So if you guys miss some of it, we'll send you a recording of this presentation afterwards so you can really go through it. So just sit back, relax, enjoy, and yeah, we'll get right into it. Now, before we really dive deep, I did want to give a quick introduction about myself. It's not about me, it's about you guys, but just to give you a little bit of context as to who I am. My name is Kyle Sutton. I'm a realtor here in Toronto with eXp Realty. And before I actually got into real estate, I was originally in B2B sales. I was selling digital marketing and advertising all across North America. And I was actually the #1 sales rep at my sales company in North America. And before that, I actually built and scaled multiple e-commerce brands into the 6-figure mark by leveraging social media. And primarily, I did that through Facebook and Instagram advertising. Now, after all that's been done, I'm now a realtor here at eXp, and I really use the advertising abilities that I've gained in the past and the sales and communication ability to help scale and grow my real estate business. Now, the other person I did want to introduce you to is one of my business partners, Mike Sherrard out of Calgary, Alberta. Now, Mike Sherrard is recognized as one of the top realtors on social media in the world, #1 in his province of Alberta. And he's actually been able to, he's the co-founder of the group called the Wolf Pack. So you guys just met Connor. He's the other co-founder, and they created the Agent Wolf Pack, which is the #1 organization here at the company because we lead with value and we pour into all of our agents. Now, as a result of that, Mike Sherrard actually is the #1 frontline agent attractor in the entire company. And he has the most agents that actually produce. So they actually produce, they actually do deals because of all the training tools and resources that you get through the Wolf Pack. And we're actually going to be diving into that deep a little bit later towards the end of the presentation. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about here is ownership. So back in 2013, eXp actually went public and they made it onto the NASDAQ in 2018 under the ticker EXPI. Now, last year, we were actually one of the top 10 performing stocks in the world on the NASDAQ. And the incredible part is just by actually being being at the brokerage, you actually get ownership in the company in the form of stock. And really why that's so important is because, you know, as agents, when we work with clients, we would typically tell buyers to buy and not to rent because ownership is so much more important than renting. Now, one of the biggest problems is at every other real estate brokerage is you actually don't get any ownership. So at every brokerage, you're essentially renting your real estate business, where at eXp, you actually own your real estate business because it's actually an agent-owned brokerage. And the other thing I'd like to dive into is this right here, which is the Icon program. Now, you've probably heard some people talk about it. If you haven't, it's why a ton of top producers are actually moving their license over to eXp. And it's something that's made a huge difference for a ton of agents. Just to give you an idea what happens, you know, at a typical brokerage, if you hit a certain production milestone, you know, you work like crazy, spend a ton of time away from your friends, family, passions, hobbies. You build your business up, you become that top producer, and you end up with, you know, a trophy, a plaque, bottle of wine, champagne, something like that. And look, I can tell you, they look great, but it doesn't do anything for your business. Now, eXp has something called the Icon program. So at eXp, we're on an 80-20 split with the $16,000 cap. Now, once you cap, you go all the way up to 100% commission. Now, 20 transactions after capping, you become an Icon agent. And when you become an Icon agent, eXp actually fully reimburses you your entire $16,000 cap back completely for free in company stock. So it's actually the first time ever in the history of brokerages that based on an agent's production, they've actually been fully reimbursed every dollar they paid in the company back in the form of ownership. And if that's not incredible enough, what it's actually done over the last 5 years for agents is substantial. Now, I'm going to put this into perspective for you because the $16,000, it goes into company stock, and the company has been exponentially growing because we are actually the fastest growing brokerage ever. Let me show you what's happened over the past 5 years. So let's say you got your $16,000 back every year for the past 5 years. So that's 16,000 times 5, 80,000. But actually based on where the stock has gone over the past 5 years, that's actually turned into over $2.4 million, which is $2.4 million more than you have at any other brokerage. And really, the moral of the story here at eXp, and you're going to see this throughout the entire presentation, it's the ability to get compensated more for doing the exact same thing you would do at any other brokerage. Because a lot of people make this sort of misassumption or false assumption that you have to go out and recruit and attract to actually earn stock. That's just not the case. We have a ton of agents here at eXp that have never attracted a single agent that now have multiple 6- and 7-figure stock portfolios based solely on their production. Now, the next thing I wanted to dive into here is the agent count and our growth. So we actually just recently passed 65,000 agents just a couple weeks ago in September. And obviously that's really exciting because we are the fastest growing brokerage ever. But why it's so important is the notion of being an early adopter. Now, we all understand being entrepreneurial that usually when you get in early, you get rewarded unfairly compared to those that wait for an opportunity to plateau. For example, let's say you bought something like Tesla stock 10 years ago, Google stock, Amazon, a piece of property, Bitcoin, anything like that. You're doing pretty well today. Now with eXp, we're actually still on the ground floor of this opportunity, which is why people are getting rewarded so heavily right now compared to those that wait another 3, 5, 10 years from now, once everybody's already at the company. Now, just to give you a little bit of context as to where the company is actually projected to go, right now we're at 65,000 agents, and we're projected to be at 400,000 to 500,000 in the next 5 years and 1 million agents in the next 10 years. So again, it's still very early, and it's why actually so many people have an incredible opportunity to really start to build some momentum here. Now, the next thing I wanted to dive into here is dispelling some myths, because you see it all online, you hear it all the time. You know, a lot of people say agents at eXp, they don't produce, they just attract, they don't close any deals. All they do is recruit, all kinds of nonsense. Now, myself personally, I like to let the numbers do the talking, because despite what people say, despite their opinions, you cannot argue with math and numbers. So let's actually take a look at the stats here. So these stats come out every single year at the end of the year. These are from September 2020. Now, the left side there is the sales volume growth of closed deals per agent, eXp versus the other top 3 brokerages in North America. Now, really to explain why this is happening is when you save time, just like Connor was talking about, when you save time and reinvest that time into income producing activities, your income goes up. That's actually why a little bit later on, I'm going to show you the cloud and the training, which really gives you that opportunity to not only save time, but learn better strategies and increase your production. Now, on the right-hand side there, why did that happen? Well, as you can see, not only did we sell more homes than any other brokerage in North America, but more agents are actually coming to eXp versus all other brokerages in North America. Now, that primarily happened because of 2 reasons. So as we all know, COVID happened last year, really shook the world by surprise and changed a lot of what we were currently used to. And the first reason and why eXp is really exponentially exploding is because agents realized they did not need an office that they were currently and previously paying for. Because during COVID, an agent realized, well, you're paying for an office that you can't go to. And actually, by the way, you never went to it anyway. So it really started to get to a lot of agents to start thinking, well, why am I paying for my broker's office that I don't go to, I don't use, and therefore I really don't see any value in it at all. Now, number 2, it's probably even more important reason why the growth started to happen is because last year, because of COVID, in a lot of cities, states, countries, and provinces, real estate was actually deemed an unessential service. So out of nowhere, agents were told, you can't do real estate anymore. You can't show properties like you used to. You can't do open houses. You can't do what you were typically able to do. Now, agents at every other brokerage that have one income stream, which is commission, that went to 0 overnight. Now at eXp, because we have 3 income streams, while every other agent at every other brokerage was making no money, here at eXp, we actually still had the ability to earn income. So really what it did was help people realize how vulnerable they are by solely relying on one income stream to provide for their family. And if that one income stream starts to become affected due to circumstances like COVID, now you put you and your family in a really tough position, which none of us want to do. Where eXp, because of the multiple income streams, you can diversify your income. eXp actually became a sort of a safe haven for agents, and the income streams actually we're just about to get into here. Now at eXp, we do have 3 income streams, but before we get into them, one thing I wanted to say is why this actually matters. So after talking with a ton of agents, what I've realized is a very common theme. After asking them, why did you get into real estate? And a lot of times people will say, you know, of course, I love helping people. I love working with people, all that kind of stuff. And of course, we all do. But getting down to, you know, the real reasons is that people want to build wealth and they want to create a lifestyle that's flexible for them and their family. That's what they want to do at the end of the day, right? So let's talk about wealth first. Wealth requires 4 things, which is duplication, equity, multiple streams of income, and residual income, just like Connor was talking about. Now, eXp has all 4 components of the wealth quadrant, where a traditional brokerage has none because they have one income stream that requires your time invested into creating it. So actually, just by nature of being an agent at any other brokerage, you actually can't create wealth despite you getting into real estate to actually create wealth. At eXp, you can. Now, the second one I wanted to talk about was lifestyle. Now, lifestyle requires 2 things, time freedom and money freedom. Now, you can actually get money freedom at any brokerage in the world. However, you can't create time freedom because, again, you have one income stream that requires your time invested into creating it. Don't invest your time, you don't make any money, you can't enjoy the lifestyle you're actually working to build. Now, at eXp, as we're going to go through, we have 3 income streams, and actually due to the nature of one, allowing you to get your time back, you can truly create a lifestyle, which is why a lot of people actually refer to eXp as the lifestyle brokerage. So let's start diving into the equity opportunities that we have. So as you can see, the very first one there, every single year, just by nature of actually being an agent here, when you close your first transaction, you actually get $200 in free company stock. Now, every year that you cap and you pay your $16,000 into the company, you get an additional $400 in free company stock. Now, if you do decide to leverage the optional agent attraction opportunities and bring your friends into the company, if they close their first deal, you'll actually get an additional $400 in free company stock as well. Now, we also talked about the Icon Award, which is the one in the middle, which again is to do your cap, then do an additional 20 transactions after capping. You'll get your entire $16,000 cap back completely for free in company stock. Now, the very last one there is the agent equity opportunity, and it's actually the only optional equity opportunity. And what it is you have the option at any time to opt in or opt out, is the option to take 5% of your commission and put it towards buying company stock at a 10% discount. Now, again, you don't have to do it. It's completely optional. But as you can imagine, having that opportunity to get discounted equity at the fastest growing brokerage in the world, agents here, they are really taking advantage of that. Now, the next income stream I wanted to go into here is the revenue share. Now, this is something you guys have probably all heard about. This is a monthly distribution we get at the company through the company dollar. So eXp actually retains 50% of its revenue to give back to the agents in the form of revenue share. And just to give you a bit of an idea, last quarter, eXp almost did $1 billion in revenue, meaning $500 million was actually given out to the agents last quarter alone in the form of revenue share. Now, why this is so important is sort of people have this sort of stigma or false assumption that, you know, eXp operates like a pyramid. Now, I just want to give you sort of a breakdown about traditional brokerage versus eXp. So at a traditional brokerage, let's say you've got the owners, let's say RE/MAX, for example. Now you've got the designated franchise owners of, let's say, RE/MAX Florida. Then you've got the owners of RE/MAX in a specific city. So RE/MAX Miami. Then you've got the owners of the specific office within RE/MAX Miami. Then you've got the managers, and then you've got the agents. Now, when an agent at an office like that closes a deal, let's say they're also on an 80-20 split, 80% goes to the agent, 20% goes straight to the top. You never see it again. It's going towards your broker to pay for their lifestyle, not your lifestyle. Now at eXp, you've got the ownership and then you've got the agents, only 2 levels. So when an agent, when they close a transaction, 80% goes to the agent, 20% to the company, then 50% of the revenue from the company comes back to the agents for helping it grow. So let's actually walk through exactly how this works so you guys can get a really good idea. So you can see here, this 7-tier chart is actually modeled after the 7-tier system that Keller Williams uses. The big difference is that we actually share revenue before expenses. They share profit after expenses, which is really an astronomical difference when you really start to break down the numbers. And the other thing I'll say about these 7 tiers, why they're so important that pretty much every single person in the company misses, is that you actually have 7 tiers of valuable people giving you free training, tools, resources, support, and mentorship. Now, we're going to get into that towards the end of what our group does here and why we have the top producing 7 tiers in the entire company. But let's get into the revenue share here. So let me break this down for you. So we'll use a very basic example to help you guys understand this. So I have my own 7 tiers, as does every single other person at the company. And let's say my friend John, he comes and joins eXp. So he would be on my first tier. Now, let's say John closes a very simple $10,000 commission. So 3.5% right here, 3.5% of $10,000 is $350. Keep that in the back of your mind for just a second. Now, 80-20 split, 80% or $8,000 goes to John, 20% or $2,000 goes to eXp. And then out of the eXp company dollar, not John's money, out of the eXp company dollar, I would receive $350. So again, out of the 2,000 that went to eXp to the company, I would get 3.5% of the total commission paid through the company. It does not touch the agent's commission. Now, let me give you a second example. Let's say John brings in his friend Sarah, and Sarah also closes a $10,000 deal. So these two percentages here, they add up for a total of 4%. So 4% of $10,000 is $400. 80-20 split, 80% or $8,000 goes to Sarah, 20% or $2,000 goes to eXp. And then out of the eXp company dollar, again, I would receive $400 from that transaction. So on and so forth as it continues to grow. Now, every single member of our organization actually makes over 6 figures per month residually, just as long as they've been at the company for a minimum of 5 years. Now, you can see this is an exponentially growing opportunity, primarily due to duplication, but the really unique thing is the time freedom. Now, what I'm going to show you here, this is actually a screenshot from one of my partner, Pat, in San Antonio, Texas, from his revenue share, $165,000 that he got paid. Now, the big difference between a regular agent at any other brokerage and an agent like Pat making 7 figures per year in revenue share is that a traditional agent makes their commission or makes their money solely on commission, where Pat has his commission as well as his revenue share. So if a traditional agent decides to go on vacation for a month, for example, well, you're going to lose listings, you're going to lose buyers, you're going to lose income, and you're going to be stressed out thinking about what you're losing when you're on vacation. And that's not how you really create a lifestyle. Now, if Pat goes on vacation for a month, he doesn't answer a single phone call, text, email, or anything else. He'll still make over 6 figures that month without having to worry about losing income. So this is what really starts to allow you to actually build a lifestyle. But the really interesting thing happens with the 2 nuances, which are the primary reasons that I came to the company and why a lot of people actually came to the company as well. Number one, the revenue share that you build is actually willable. So every person I've ever talked to, they always tell me their family is the most important thing in their life, and really as it should be. Now, unfortunately, let's paint a picture that at any other brokerage, if after this meeting here, I go to the gym and I get in a bad car accident and I pass away, well, I'll leave my family with whatever I have today. And unfortunately, for most agents, that's not a lot to sustain your family. Now at eXp, if I go on that same drive and that same thing happens, my family or somebody in my will can actually inherit my revenue share, which would actually provide for them for the rest of time. So number one, the revenue share is actually a security blanket for your family that you cannot get anywhere else. Number two, you actually retain the revenue share after you stop closing deals, as long as you maintain an active real estate license. So let's say that you're at any other brokerage and let's say you're 40 years old and you want to do deals until you're 50. So you want to do 10 more years of real estate. So 10 years working like crazy, time away from your friends, family, passions, hobbies, everything like that. And at the end of those 10 years of making commission, hopefully you've had the diligence to save enough. You're going to get a handshake and a thank you from your broker, and your income goes to zero. Now you're left trying to live off your savings account. Now, when you're at eXp, let's say you want to work those same 10 years until you're 50, but you're healthy until you're 70. Well, you're going to put those same 10 years into your transactional income. And when you turn 50, that'll go to zero. But for the next 20 years until you're 70, while you can maintain your real estate license, you're going to retain your revenue share getting paid every single month, which really it's actually growing because there's younger people below you still actually trying to build their business. So you're really going to get 30 years of income instead of 10 years of income. So really that's why it's a massive, not only exit strategy, but also a retirement plan and a security blanket for your loved ones. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take you guys on a quick journey into the eXp cloud-based brokerage here. Just give me a second while this loads up. Now, I'll be completely honest with you. When I first saw this myself, I thought it was a little bit ridiculous, but you'll see, I was actually the one that didn't quite understand the power of it. But now I truly do. And I'm going to explain why it's so powerful and why it's helping so many agents here at eXp. So when you come into here, what you'll notice, you'll have the concierge on the right where they can help you with anything. And on the left-hand side, you'll see all of the flags of the different countries that we're open in. So we're actually opening up in pretty much a country every 1 to 2 months because our brokerage is growing so quickly. Now, let me kind of explain the difference between this sort of setup and at a traditional brokerage. Now, at a traditional brokerage, you have your broker, and then you've got maybe 1 or 2 admin staff, then you've got the agents. So maybe you've got, let's say, 100 agents, 1 broker. Now, what happens with a lot of agents, especially new agents, they'll say something like, look, I'm a new agent. I'm struggling because I try to get a hold of my broker, but he's incredibly busy, can't help me. It's been 2 days. I have no idea what to do. Now, this is because you have one broker wearing every single hat that's dealing with, new agents, onboarding, training, marketing, compliance, risk management, getting sued, all this kind of stuff all at once for a ton of agents. Now at eXp, we've got to set up a bit differently. Now at eXp, we have almost 1,000 paid active employees that work 24 hours a day, Monday to Friday, that are actually here to support your business. So like Connor said, this is the opportunity to leverage a $40 to $50 million employee force here at eXp. Now, let me break down the functionality and how this actually works. So let's say you need help with technology. You want to customize your website. You want to customize your CRM. You need anything to do with tech. Well, at any other brokerage, you have really 2 primary options. Number 1, contact your broker and hope they actually have the time to help you, as well as an understanding of the technology so they can help you. Or number 2, email support, call overseas, hope to get a response. Either way, it's a massive waste of time. And as we talked about many times already, time is money, and the more time you can invest into your business, the more income that you'll make. Now, let me actually show you exactly how this works. So let's say you have a problem with technology. You just go into the tech support center here. And actually, because we're open in Australia, South Africa, and all these, and then also in North America, it's open 24 hours a day, Monday to Friday, just because of the time zones. So as you can see, if you come into here, you can see that you see in the top left, 15 different people that could remote log into my computer and fix any technology problem that I have in real time. Now, the immediate support that you get allows you to save that time, reinvest it into your business, and then your income can go up. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, which is really important, is the training. So we're going to pop into the main auditorium here. So our training is just about to start here in the next little bit. So I'll show you guys exactly how this works. So pretty much this is sort of like a college auditorium campus sort of layout where you have people doing the training from the stage or people here sit in the audience. Now, the importance of our training here is we actually have 50 hours, so 50 hours of live training every single week. But the training is actually taught by the icon agents. So those are the same top 1% agents that are doing cap plus 20 transaction in today's market. So these are the top agents that are actually doing the training. Now, you're getting training on things like buyers, investors, luxury, prospecting, lead gen, database, Spanish, anything you can possibly think of. You have training here done by not just an agent in your city, not just an agent in your state, not just an agent in your country, but all over the world and what strategies are working for them. Now, the other part I wanted to show you before we wrap up here is the broker rooms. So every single country that we're open in operates very similarly. I'm just going to show you an example for the US. So let's say you want to bring somebody into the company, and I'm here actually in Toronto, Canada. And if somebody, let's say from Florida, wants to join and they have some questions about compliance and state laws and things like that, well, what they can actually do, just click on the Florida state room. And what you'll see is here you actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 state brokers that are able to help you with your contracts, with compliance, with your transactions. And we have this for every single state, province, and country that we're actually open in. And the best part is because these brokers here at eXp, they only wear one hat. So you actually have undivided attention from these brokers versus at a typical brokerage, what happens is you have one broker who wears every hat that's dealing with every single part of an agent's business. Where at eXp, because we have access to 900 paid employees, the brokers help you with broker related tasks where you have somebody for accounting, you have somebody for tech, you have somebody for support, you have somebody for onboarding, and so on and so forth. So that's why here typically at eXp, you actually get not only better attention, but the support is typically undivided as well. Now, the last thing I'll show you, and this is one of my favorite parts about the eXp office, is that when you're done and you want to leave, you click this, you click quit, and you're gone. No more driving in traffic, no more driving in snow or rain or anything like that. You're back at home and you can just spend time with your family or get back to working on your business. Now, what I did want to show you here is our back office, and then we'll talk about what our group does differently and why we're the fastest growing organization within the company. So number one, every single agent gets free access to KV Core. Now, KV Core is widely to be considered one of the best lead gen, CRM, and database nurturing softwares in the industry for converting online leads and nurturing your database. Now, this is an example of my KV Core website. It's fully customizable. You can do anything you want to it, where it has it's IDX integrated, meaning that it has every single listing in your local MLS that you can actually access here, as well as testimonials, just listed, just reduced. You can customize it exactly how you want it. And every single agent at eXp gets this completely for free. Now, you do have the opportunity to get KV Core outside of eXp because it is a third-party platform, but it's going to cost you anywhere between $8,000 to $10,000 per year. But eXp, you get it for free. Now, you also have Making It Rain, which is a fully automated Google pay-per-click software. You have ShareWorks by Morgan Stanley, which is where you can actually track all your stock. You have SkySlope, which is your digital filing cabinet or transaction management software. And you also have here is the calendar. So I was talking about the training. This is how you know what training is going on every single week. On the right-hand side, you'll have state, country, and province specific training, compliance, mentor training, contracts classes, all that kind of stuff on the right-hand side. Where on the left-hand side, this is the training that's done by the icon agents. So, everything from how to make your first million, how to prospecting a lead gen, prospecting to become a top producer, 3 new listings in 30 days, 9 secrets to successful home buying consultation. Anything you can possibly think of, we have training 50 hours every single week done by these top icon agents every single week. Now, the last thing I wanted to show you guys here is Workplace. Now, this is absolutely incredible. So Workplace, what it is, it's sort of just like Facebook, except it's without all the advertisements. It's without all the cat pictures, dog pictures and videos, all that kind of stuff. It's a business platform for every single agent in the company where we're all connected. So the way that it works is because we are an independent brokerage and we're not franchised, you actually have access to every single agent in the country. So that's actually why we do more referrals than any other brokerage as well, because let's say, for example, I wanted to send a deal over to somewhere like Vancouver. I would just type in Vancouver, and there's the top agents in Vancouver. Now, it's the same thing for every single state, country, province, or anything like that you want to send a deal to. If you have a seller in your city and they're moving to another city, you can actually just reach out and send the agent right over there directly. Now, the other part that's so powerful is the ability to reach up and to contact anyone in the company. So you can reach out to anybody in the company, like someone here, Michael Valdez, who's actually the president of international growth. I had a question for him. It was actually pretty much 7 p.m. on a Saturday night, and he responded to me in less than 10 minutes. Then also, Renata and Alejandro, they're actually the brokers over in Spain, and even Andrew Thompson, he's actually the managing broker in South Africa, because we are growing quite quickly in both of those countries. So I've been talking to them a little bit as well. And you also have the opportunity to reach all the way up even to the founder, Glenn Sanford, the founder of the company, which is absolutely incredible. You can actually reach out to him and he would actually respond, which is insane. That's like trying to reach out to the founder of, Remax or Keller Williams or Century 21 and them actually responding, which you would not get that anywhere. Now, to wrap up here, I just wanted to show you exactly what our group does differently, why we've broken so many records, and what goes on here at the Wolfpack. So first off, before I go into that, what I wanted to say is our whole idea is we were just sort of looking at the eXp Realty business model. We were looking at how other brokerages operate and sort of picking them apart and finding all the areas where agents are struggling. How can we help them succeed more? So the number one thing that a lot of people care about is social media. Now, most brokerages do not have proper social media training. Now, here at eXp, every single agent in our group gets free access to the top social media training, as you can see on every single platform that's updated every single year. And myself and my partners above me will actually sit down with you and help create a custom plan for you and your business. So whether you care more about production, whether you care more about attraction, or a blend of both, we got you. We'll help you get there. Now, also, you'll see this is a favorite here in the middle is the A to Z modules. Now, what this is, we've built out this specifically for agents that are looking to join, where we took individual goals that agents have and we broke them down in sequential order. So you can know exactly how to achieve that goal without trying to figure out, where to start, where to finish, where to go, anything like that. So let's say, you're a new agent with no business, no budget, no experience. Here's exactly how to launch in every single platform in order to attract your first clients for free. Now, do you want to create, identify, and build your personal brand? Here's exactly how to do that. Now, if you just got your first listing and you want to know how to market it across every single platform to get it sold for more money in less time, here's exactly how to do that. So we built this out and covered every single angle. And again, we do help and support every single agent in our organization with this. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention here is just a couple testimonials from a couple members in our group. And this is just a small sample of the many members that are absolutely crushing it with the social media training that we give. Number one on the left-hand side, Suman Kim, he's out of Texas and he is a brand new agent. And he's been able to close over 55 deals in his first 8 months solely through leveraging the social media strategies on YouTube in the Social Agent Academy. Now, he's done that with no prospecting, no cold calling, no door knocking, and $0 in ad spend. And he's closed over $55 million in deals. John Pena on the right-hand side, he's also in Texas. He was a brand new agent at Keller Williams for 6 months, didn't close a single deal, was actually planning on quitting the business. He joined us. Again, he's leveraging the YouTube strategies in the Social Agent Academy. And now he's doing multiple deals every single month. And he's actually been able to retire his wife from corporate America to help him out with his real estate business. Now, just to go over a few other things that we actually provide every single agent here in our group. First of all is number one and number two is the investment training, as well as the revenue share and team building academy. Now, these courses here are actually taught by the gentleman you met earlier, Connor Steinbrook, out of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. And he is actually, as he mentioned, the #1 real estate investing following in the entire country. Now, he also teaches you about how to actually build, scale, and grow your team by leveraging the model and actually how the revenue share model works so you can leverage it yourself even better. Now, number three, we have 4 mastermind calls every single week. So on Monday, we help with agent attraction strategies, which is communication, sales, mindset, things like that. Tuesday, we do personal development. We do business growth as well as social media strategies. Wednesday, we do local marketing and branding for our agents as well. Thursday, we do team leader calls for agents that have actually 10 or more people in the organization. We help them get all the way up to 100. And then on Fridays, we actually have featured speakers with the entire upline of the company. And what we do here is bring on top 100 agent influencers of the company and help them inspire these agents to actually grow next. Now, the last 2 things here are probably the most important is you have direct support 7 days per week with myself, Connor Steinbrook, who you just met, Mike Sherrard, even Tharmila as well. All of us here, we're all there to support you with any aspect of your business. So if you have any single question that you have about your marketing, your brand, your business, your growth, whatever, book it into our calendar. We'll sit down with you one-on-one and we'll support you. And support is literally never, ever, ever an issue here in our group. Now, we've got this dialed into such a process that whatever side of the business you want to scale, we got your back and we'll help create a plan. Now, the last part is if you do care about creating financial freedom, you do care about the residual income, this is what we do to help you guys out. So let me kind of explain how other groups of the company attempt to grow. Now, either A, they send video presentations to other agents done by somebody else, which first of all, what I'm going to say is if anyone ever sends you just a video, that's, a huge red flag. That person saying, hey, look, I don't care if you're a new agent. I don't care if you're a team leader, top producer, or broker. You're not worth my time. You're the same as everybody else. Come watch this video and make me money. Incredibly disrespectful. Now, the second thing you would do is you'd either you'd have to actually just sit here, just like this presentation I'm doing now for 60 to 90 minutes, anytime somebody reaches out to you. But the problem is you're still learning the model and you're, trying to build your sales business and you're spending so much time with this agent, you're not going to get the agent. Now you lost a deal. Now you lost twice. So the way that our group works and why we actually have the highest conversion rate in the entire company is that we actually help the agents understand the model for you. So myself, Mike, Connor, Tharmila, all of us will actually do all of the attraction calls for you. So if an agent says, hey, I'd love to learn more about eXp, that agent just books a call into one of our calendars. We would show up and tailor the presentation to what that agent cares about. Not what we care about, not what you care about, what that agent cares about. And then that agent would join you. Now, the other thing the way you can sort of think about this is we are sort of your, behind the scenes Navy SEAL team where we're going to help you grow your residual income and you can just focus on building your business how you want to. And that's actually why we see agents in our organization not only scale their production side, but also their residual. And we take care of everything on the residual side. You guys use the tools, the training, the resources, and support to grow the sales business. Now, last thing here, I just want to quickly go over the fees here. So in the United States, the way that it works, 80-20 split, $16,000 cap. Once you cap, you go all the way up to 100% commission with a just $250 capped transaction fee. 20 transactions after capping, you actually become that icon agent. You get your $16,000 back for free in company stock, and the fee is further reduced to just $75. Now, your startup fee in the US is just $149. Now that covers your first month's cloud brokerage fee. It covers the KV core setup, the 1,000 business cards, the ShareWorks, SkySlope, as well as access to all of the employees within the cloud. And then it's just $85 month to month after that. Then there's just a $25 broker review fee that's on a transactional basis, and then a $40 risk management fee or E&O fee that caps at $500. Now in Canada, very, very similar. The only thing is the currency exchange. So the cap transaction fee is just $285, but it still drops all the way down to $75 once you hit that icon status. The startup fee is just $199, which again includes your first month. Then it's just $139 month to month following that, $29 broker review fee on a transactional basis, and $17 risk management fee that caps at $200. And the very last thing I'd want to say here is that we are open in multiple countries where the fee structure is slightly different just based on currency conversion. So we are open in South Africa. We have a big presence in South Africa, big presence in Mexico, Brazil, many other countries like that. So if you guys are curious about some of maybe the specific numbers for your specific country, after the presentation, we're going to be sending you an email with some details. You can feel free to reach out, book a call with us one-on-one, and we can break down exactly how it would work for you, your country, your state, your province, or anything like that.